thank you all for coming. My name is Paula Haymond, if you haven't gotten that. This is Elemental Alchemy. It is a show of very diverse works. I have taken the skills that I've learned with woodworking and changed them into working with brass and aluminum. I think that aluminum and brass are a different kind of challenge. They're not the kind of work that you can, if you make a mistake, you can just sort of fix it. And with woodworking, you can go back and you can sand it down and start over again almost. With brass and aluminum, it's you either like it or you don't like it. And hopefully, most of you will like what I've created. This is my last show at Archway Gallery. I've been accepted to the Arizona Art Expo, which I will be in January, from January through March, which is an exposition of 115 artists that are juried in and are creating works of art as artists in residence, as well as selling their gallery works. So I'm very, very pleased with this show. I hope that you enjoy it. I really like the stories that I've created that are behind Christie on the Wall. If you take some time to read that, you'll see some ideas about how most of this has evolved for me in terms of working with music and working with elements and working with diverse materials in order to create the pieces of art. So that's pretty much how it's come about. Anybody have any questions about the artwork? Well, again, I thank you all for coming. I thank the Archway family for creating pieces for me. Yes?
So when you put the paint on a metallic surface, what do you have to do to prepare that surface? Does it start peeling off later?
I take the brass instruments all the way down to bare metal. I then apply shoe dye. Fine beam shoe dye. I move it around often with an air compressor, and then I lacquer it heavily before I do any engraving and carving on the piece, because the dye will bleed off into my hands. So I'm very careful about how I handle the instruments after I've dyed them, because I don't want that dye to come off in my hands. I've spent a lot of time getting it to move around and create new colors from the dye combinations. So
you use like a liquid vibrator?
I use a high-speed dental drill that's going about 500,000 RPMs. It's the same dental drill that the dentist uses to do cavities. So it makes this real really high-pitched noise, so I have to wear earplugs the whole time I'm using it. So it creates a very, very fine brass dust, so I also have to use a respirator, and I use a lot of dust collection. And then I have special dental tools that I can do to actually do the piercing with. So many of the pieces you'll see are pierced through the metal, so that you have, when you look at the shadows, you'll see the designs of the piercing coming through on the shadows. So many of my instruments, they can hang on the wall, they can be upside down on a table, they can be held with a wooden hand, but the beauty in them is the color and the piercing, so you get the nice shadows from them.
Well, yes, like this Pluto, it's silver plated, but you actually had to go through the plate, but it appears that it's still silver underneath. So.
Right, so the metal on the flute is thick enough I can't pierce through that. So I've engraved all of those markings after I've colored it. And then it's all completely resined in order to capture the luster of the color. So all of these instruments are non-functional instruments, even though they have all their parts. So they aren't intended to be played in a band. Of course, if somebody wanted to commission me to create an instrument that would play, I'd be happy to do that. I wouldn't make any extra holes for it. I would work with it to work, perfectly normal. But most of these instruments are bought at auction, and they are non-functional. Sometimes they come to me in very damaged condition, and I spend a lot of time working on smoothing out the bells and making them so that they look like they're playable instruments, but they are not. So, any other questions? Well, thank you all for coming. It's been a great show. I appreciate the support from the community, and I appreciate the support from Archway Gallery members. Thank you.